welcome back to the Red Bull Wololo Legacy Road to Wololo qualifiers, and we've got the August weekly number 2 here. We've got Beastyqt facing off against COINNU, the man formerly known as COINNU, in a Chinese mirror with Beastyqt here in the blue trunks, COINNU here in the red. So it's a round of 8, winner takes all here. Beastyqt actually taking advantage of the fact that he will drop off just by going and building the mill with these villagers anyway. So he'll get all the wood that he initially distance gathered here. Well, he can go for that Imperial official. COINNU looking to do the same basically, except minus the distance wood gathering. So he's going to start gathering wood a little bit earlier on via the lumber camp. He doesn't have that initial wood and he needs to go for lumber camp, mining camp. He's actually got to now gather it. So only a very slight difference in their initial builds. So welcome back, gamers. We've got a Beastyqt game here. I've actually casted a lot of Beastyqt's games, and I've casted a stack of COINNU's. You know, he does compete in the East Asian and Oceanic minor circuit, so I get to cast an awful lot of his stuff there because he's fairly dominant there. While Beastyqt, one of the champions of Europe. So it'll be an interesting matchup. Going to be a hard and fast game here, guys. Unusual for Chinese, but maybe not so unusual in their mirrors, particularly in most recent patches. I think both our players have just gone single scout here by the looks of things. So Sire and Beastyqt already looking to go on all 3 resources. Beastyqt just now getting on the wood, but because he distance gathered, he can sort of delay having to go for it before the gold. So it's a bit of a handy trick, and I was actually thinking about that. I hadn't actually seen anyone do this style of build. I was thinking a couple of days ago, if I ever get into Chinese, I'll actually try something like this, where you distance gather the initial wood, and rather than wait for the drop off, send them onto the mill and to build the mining camp. And, you know, you end up dropping off for free as you finish the facility. So you can go for a lumber camp without any delay. Don't have to go lumber camp first and delay your gold gathering. So Beastyqt, a little bit behind the wood, but he's actually up in terms with gold. Slightly behind in terms of the food. I think COINNU's actually gone for an extra food gatherer over him. Plus he did have that slightly faster official, I believe. So, both our players looking to throw down their age ups here. Imperial Academy here for Beastyqt. Imperial Academy as well for COINNU. He's now found an awful lot of sheep. Both our players, 1 scout. So, it does mean that it's taken them a little bit longer to get all the sheep on the map, but I mean, they're a civ that does like to go for an early mill so they can reap the benefit of the tax generation. So, at worst, if they ever do run out of sheep, they can always do a little bit of berry gathering. I think it's only slightly slower because sheep gathering is slower than hunt gathering anyway. And they both benefit from the same tech line in horticulture, rather than relying on survival techniques. So, village being thrown down now for Beastyqt. COINNU's already got one for the moment. Things are fairly even in terms of the ecos and whatnot early on here. Players just scouting one of those gold lines. Might look at poking and prodding at the villagers, but first just checking to make sure nothing unusual going on. No early production rushed out, but they're going to try and go for Song Dynasty first before they play anything really funky, and that it's going to be mostly villagers oriented rather than trying to pump out quick COINNU with multiple archeries. A couple of villagers being found here as they're attempting to What they do? Going for a tower. Oh, a Barbican out on the map here. So Imperial Academy's finishing up now, only being built with one villager to maximize the eco so that the Song dynasties can be started. So Beasty's going to pull 6 villagers. COINNU's only going to pull... Oh no, here we go. They're both going to pull 6, at least 6. COINNU actually going to pull 7. So he's going to get a slightly faster finishing Barbican, starting slightly later. But it'll cost him a little bit of gathering doing so. Does also give him a bit of an advantage with being able to throw up more towers or starting his production aggressively around here. Interesting map because you can cut through all this eventually, but you know, it's a hell of a slog. So both players getting Song Dynasty. Beasty still finishing is slightly faster, even with one less villager in the mix. But both players going to start gathering from these forward mills here. There's a lot of berries. These two at least are safe. These two at the front, not so safe from the Barbicans. Well, this side, not so much in the way of berries, but there is still another sacred site to hold on to, and there is the markets both sides of the map to contend, so, you know, Barbican's going to be nice at least. Trying to defend those. Beasties is slightly closer, so he can actually look at towering up and really preventing any market activity here from his opponent. Beastie going to try and actually go for a tower here. COINNU trying to go for a wall off. He sent a lot of villagers to do this, so he's going to be able to get the wall off before the tower. He's really going to be able to be of any effect and pick off any of the villagers. COINNU's even going to fight villager on villager at the moment. So Beastie's got to really try and... Oh! COINNU actually backing off, doesn't want to even finish off that villager because it'll cost him more sticking around here. He's going to lose 1 for his troubles. So Beastie... off the other side of the map, in the meanwhile, going to take hand cannon slits. So both their players been gathering a bit of stone behind this. COINNU having a lot more wood in the bank, but it looks like he's going to... Oh, here we go. Both our players having the stone now for second town center. Actually, it was Beastie that was a little bit off on the stone because he's gone for the hand cannons. So COINNU, very safe second town center. Beastie a slight map control advantage on this top side, and he's actually walled in the bottom side on the meanwhile. So this is going to be great for him. He still just needs to finish off this segment over here. Beastie also extremely safe second town center here, but he's going to gather the stone and the wood for a third straight away. COINNU gathering up lots of wood. I think he's going to add production from here. He's expanded his food eco behind this. Where's he going to get on the stone? Once again and go for third town center. So Beastie all the way up to 3 safe town centers. And this will help protect all these landmarks as well. Allow him to garrison everything in a nice compact area. It just means that he's going to have a bit more walk time to secure all the resources later, but this walling off for Beastie is really locked down the map for him. COINNU for the moment is just banking a little bit of wood. I think he's unsure of what he wants to do here. He's going to try and chop through the center in the meanwhile, knowing that his opponent's got everything sort of walled off for the minute. So Beastie triple town center before he's gone for any military production. So you've heard of 2 TC Song. Now get ready for 3 TC Song. So this will be the most ridiculous eco build you can go for. 3 town centers producing villages at 13 seconds per vill. Well, COINNU spending a lot of his wood on granary and farm eco for the minute because he's sort of locked off from a bit of the food now. The hand cannon outpost denying that berry bush, so and Beasty's ward off this other side. So Beasty's Vil count is just going to rocket forward. 47 Vils and 1 military unit, which is a scout, to 48 Vils and 1 military unit, which is a scout for COINNU, but 2 town centers to 3. It'll slowly start favouring Beasty here. 53 to 50 now, so that gap really starting to grow. COINNU must have had slightly better Vil production through this, because Beasty would have just been getting as much wood and stone, perhaps slightly slipping on his food gathering, but now, because he's only gone for the 2 town centers, COINNU might be able to sneak in a quicker castle age here. But Beasty doing a wonderful job at sieging up the map, and I think he's also wanting to try and cut through the middle, because you've only got fairly limited wood reserves at the back of your base too, so even though you're sort of cutting your way through to your opponent, it does give you the resources that you need to go into late game, because there is fucking minimal wood at home on this map. Look at this shit. So you do eventually need to resort to this wood line, and a lot of the time these players at this level, once they've chopped one set of these trees at home, they will look at coming forward like both our players have here, just because, you know, again, it's the biggest wood clump in the game, and you don't want to be caught in the stage where you've got no wood at home and your opponent controls the mid here, and they've chopped out most of it already. Because then they can just go back home, go into late game with plenty of wood reserves. You can't. And now Beasty rocketing towards Castle Age, but there'll be a quicker timing here from COINNU, because he's only gone for the 2 TC song to the 3 TC song with Beasty here. And say that'll be 64 Vils to 74 at the moment, and that'll continue to grow until COINNU can add a 3rd town centre. He will have the advantage of Imperial Spies, and he can look at switching to Yuan Dynasty with his clock tower later on, but at least this gives him an idea of just how much eco Beasty is investing in, where it all is, and he can look at raiding quite effectively behind this, because he'll be adding Knight Man-at-Arms. Blacksmith now for some upgrades too, but Beasty, man, this eco, he's just pumping Vils, and he's going to add just as much, if not more, production behind this. He just has that little bit more gathering incoming at the moment. He is safe, gathering in a lot more of the map. It's taken that horticulture tech. A few techs, eco techs and military being pumped out now for COINNU, or Beasty still just producing villages for the moment. His military production going to start as soon as he can start getting a little bit more gold. And he's floating a little bit of food. The horsemen and the lance are going to be able to repel these villages, but they're going to try and safe gather. They'll be here at least to try and repair through the cav harass for the moment, while Beasty can get some military out. He's going to add a Springald onto the Barbican. That just a little bit more damage on top of the hand cannon that it'll have. So ultimately, COINNU deciding to back off. He's not even going to worry about trying to take out the wall all the way over there. Beasty still kept a scout here in COINNU's base. COINNU in the same boat. COINNU, a couple of relics over his side of the map. Looks like Beasty is the one already looking at collecting all the relics in the center. COINNU, really nice wood eco here. Plenty of granaries as well, but on the forward side of his base may come back to haunt him. It'd be nice to have them sandwiched in between these town centers, because they'll have ridiculous cover. At the same time, it is nice for the officials to be able to go and really rack up the gold. One of these scouts now being picked off for COINNU, so now he's got no intel inside the opponent's base. Beasty going to add another layer of walls just to protect, and COINNU going to do the same on the other side of the map. So Beasty all the way up to 113 and 19. COINNU at 93 and 23. So now that eco gap is really starting to show, COINNU probably need to add a third town centre here in behind the castle age, because it's taking him a little bit too long to actually apply any pressure to Beastyqt, who's just going straight to late game. He's going to add a clock tower trap to take out every single one of these outposts that COINNU's gone for. So COINNU still in Song Dynasty, and with Imperial Palace, while he does have that vision bonus around the map, Beastyqt some quick stone walls going up here. There's a clock tower here for Beastyqt, and he can really apply pressure with stronger siege up the guts of the map at the moment. Well, COINNU is actually going to try and break through on this left side, and he's been successful. He's got rams and man-at-arms here, a good number of lancers as well. Beastyqt going to put a layer of walling a little bit further back. He's going to keep up here in the center. A lot of villagers getting this done. Trebs looking at sneaking back a little bit. Actually going to move forward. What Beastyqt was doing there, did he all army command them over here perhaps? Scout being picked off there by COINNU, and he's going to try and start safe gathering wood a little bit further over here. He's going to lose all these central towers, and this push of his is going to cut down by Beastyqt. His eco is in a wonderful spot. It's 103 vils and 28 military to 124 vils and 26 military. And Beastyqt largely cutting villager production from here, because I think he's got the eco size he wants. Just needs to worry about trying to defend here over on the left side of the map, but COINNU having to stream units in with a smaller number of them, and it's looking a bit rough for him. What does he do from here? He's producing a lot of palace guards. Sorry, I've been calling them men-at-arms and knights. That's for the Eurocivs. And he's getting Springolds now. But, so Beastyqt's doing a wonderful job at denying midnight wood gathering here for Syark. So he's going to have to start using these the wood reserves at the back of his base. Beastyqt, his wall's going to be able to delay the rams for quite a bit of time. To give Syark the means to actually mass up an army. Beastyqt is a bit closer to maxing out right now. Struggling to get the food gathering he needs at the moment. Floating a bit of wood, but I think he's going to transition to his farm eco. He hasn't got the granary eco that COINNU has at the moment, so he's looking to get that set up somewhere. Just keep going to be able to defend his units. The monk even being used to heal stuff up here. So I think Beastyqt has managed to collect his 2 relics, while COINNU has done the same, but there is now a nested beast in the mix, so this is really going to up the ante here. And now COINNU needs to try and get a Springold or a Trebuchet to take it out. Make short work of the infantry there. And COINNU forced to tap out, not playing greedy enough there in the early game, and GG Beastyqt takes it in the round of 8. Game number 1, the best of 3.